Hi everybody, Jeff here from backyardwatergarden.com. As you can see, it's spring. I love before and after videos. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you a little before, and we are going to spring clean our pond here. So we're going to pump out some water. I have a tub. Let me show you. We'll take a little quick walk around. Okay, so what we're going to do is our water is pretty murky. As you can see, our fish are they're ready for a spring cleaning. Now there's some different rules of thought when it comes to spring cleaning your pond. Some people say you should never drain the water. Well, this water's been in here 2 years. I haven't cleaned it properly. So I'm going to drain the pond. There's 3 levels in this pond. I'm going to take it down and leave the water in the lower level. We're going to remove the fish, place them in the tote that I have over there, and we're going to keep the aeration in the tote to keep the fish healthy while we do this. We're going to pressure wash the stones to get most of that string algae off. I don't know if you can see it, but it's all over the place. We kind of got infested last year. We're going to trim back some of these water plants and just get everything up and running for the season. And we're going to basically hit the reset button so we can start off right. So with that said, let's get started. Before I started, I ordered this net online. I'll have a link in the description below. I got it off Amazon for like 25 bucks or something. Also, the pump I'm using, I also have a link for that in the description below. So all the things you need to do this project, they'll be listed, and you can accomplish the same thing I am. Now this is a telescoping, however you want to say it, net, and we're going to try our hand at scooping some of these fish out. There is one more quick thing I wanted to mention as we're pumping this out. Last year we had a bunch of baby fish hatch, so I want to separate them also because I don't want this pond to be overpopulated. So I have a fish tank that I've pumped the pond water out into over here. So there's the tub that we're going to be putting the koi in. And then I also have a fish tank. It's a 10-gallon tank. As you can see how green that water is. We're just going to put the small fry in there for now. And the koi will be in here. I need to put a screen over the top of the tank so that they don't jump out and nothing can get in. So I'm going to go do that. So the reason that we're draining this pond isn't just to clean out the algae. I also have this stone here, if you can see it, that I purchased. What I want to do is, if you've seen my other videos, I don't know if you can make it out, but there's a fish cave kind of down in there. And the idea was to, the fish can hide in case, the herring comes in or any other predators come by. The problem is the fish are growing as they do, and they don't quite fit in there. So what I'm going to do is there's a ledge. Again, I don't know if you can make this out. I'll get a better video once the water's drained. But there's a cross ledge there. So I'm going to create a platform with that piece of stone and place it across so that they have a larger area to hide. Alright, we're still pumping out the pond. I'm looking through at the part where the water is all gone and the little tiny fry get caught. So you have to be aware that they may get landlocked and you have to get them out. I still have some fish in the pond. I've been trying to fish them out, but they are smarter than me apparently, and they are really good at digging down into this sludge and staying safe. The fish cave is right there, and the largest and oldest koi that I have are staying in there because they're probably the smartest fish we have. So it's going to be a challenge to get them out, and I need to get them out because when we fill this back up, the water will have chlorine in it, and I don't want the fish to be too stressed out. I am going to leave the lower level filled with the original pond water, but I want to get all the fish out so that I can pressure wash a lot of this green sludge off and collect as much as I can before the season starts. Like I said before, I want to trim back these plants. So like I said, we're going to let this run all night once it's filled up, and tomorrow we will put the fish back. This is very important also, if you're going to keep your fish in a tub, I do have a screen over the top. You want to do that because, you know, raccoons and things like that would love to make a meal out of your fish. So just keep that in mind. I'm probably going to reinforce this a little bit better than the way I have it because raccoons are little geniuses and I don't want them to get my fish. It'll be like shooting fish in a barrel, as they say, right? So, little dad joke. All right, we're still draining the pond. As you can see, we have frogs that are like, what the heck is going on? I believe all the fish are in the tunnel, and it is going to be a challenge to get them out. I don't know if you can see them in there. I've cleared a lot of the algae out of the way. I have a feeling I'm going to be reaching in there with my hand and just pulling them out and scooping them up with my net. This net has worked extremely well so far. It's like that when you go fishing for catfish and the noodling, is that what they call it? I want to do some of that myself. The cave is nothing more than a 5-gallon bucket that I've disguised with stones around it. For my other videos, you know that I live in Western New York. I don't have to worry about snakes so much. I mean, there was one in here last year, but it wasn't a big deal. It was a little water snake. It wasn't poisonous. If you live down south, you may not be sticking your hand in a dark hole in the water, but I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to get bit by some poisonous creature. This is going to be most of my afternoon, probably. Come on, guys. Come on. Here we go. All right, another thing. This plant, this is hornwort. This stuff spreads, and it's an oxygenator, and it's a great plant to have in your pond. So I'm going to keep as much of this as I can. I'm going to dump it in with the fish, so that I can put this back in when the fish go back. Now this algae is going to grow again. I know that, but the hopes is that if I clear out most of it, throughout the season I'll be able to control it a little better so that it doesn't get completely out of hand. Was originally thinking I would just get the pressure washer out, go through, you know, blast these big rocks. The algae would just peel right off and I'd be on my way. Well, that wasn't the case. So I've gone through, I've already accepted the fact I'm not going to get all the algae, which is fine. I don't mind the algae. I will be using some algae fix or other chemical like that to reduce the growth of the string algae. But as you can see, I got most of the algae off that was covering the rocks. I haven't gotten this side yet, and you can see that's what it looked like before, and it's just caked on there. So I've been going around by hand. Again, this is a good time to make sure all your lights are where you want them. I have one poking out right there. I need to replace and position where I want it. I am going to put the piece of slate across there, that area, for the koi to hide. The pressure washer worked okay to get the dead algae off the spill rocks, but this living algae is something completely different. I'll probably scoop out most of the middle here. I went around and by hand cleaned out most of the algae, and then after that I did use the pressure washer and attempted to spray the stones as best I could. It does work okay. As you can see, it's still green. I'm just gonna have to live with it. I got my new rock ledge in place and put some fresh stone around it. And as soon as this pond is filled up past the skimmer box, I will be hooking up my connections and we're gonna get the water flowing. The reason that we want to do that is because when you drain the pond like this and put new water in, the water from the town or city or wherever you live has chlorine in it. It's very, very important that before you put your fish back, you use some dechlorinator, let the water circulate. I'm going to leave my pond on all night tonight and let that water really circulate and make sure there's no chlorine so that when I put the fish back, there's no issues. We did leave enough water in the bottom with all that beneficial bacteria in there and in the rocks and everything. Everything should be fine. So what I'm going to do in the meantime while I'm waiting is go through my pump. This cover just comes off of here. We're going to check it out, make sure it's working properly and everything. It's real important. Don't plug your pump in when it's not in the water. You'll break it, it'll burn itself out. Just gonna remove this cover and we're gonna check all the impellers and everything, make sure everything's good. Over the course of the winter and last season and things, I don't know if you can see down in there, but a bunch of rocks and things fell into the skimmer basket, so we're gonna pull all those out so that it doesn't damage our pump when we turn it back on. Like I said again, it's real important that you use dechlorinator when you fill up your pond with this much volume of fresh water from your city water. Okay, we are going to attempt our waterfall for the season. Pump came on, so that's a good sign. It'll take a while to fill up the waterfall reservoir. I have to go double check and make sure there's no leaks anywhere. We're going to put this in. It's dechlorinator, pond starter. You want to put this in the beginning of the season, in the spring, and if you add any city water to your pond, you want to make sure that there's no chlorine in it. This particular bottle, there's a little measuring thing here, so you measure it out and it says it's safe. So we're gonna make sure that we have enough in here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna double the dose. It says it's fine to do that, and I just want to make sure that if I'm gonna put my fish back tomorrow, that everything cycles through and there's no hiccups and the fish go back in, smoothly. So, all right, as you can see, the fish are back in their home. It went well, all cleaned out, they're happy, everything turned back on for the season, and now it's time to sit back and enjoy. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.